Hey everybody, this is Dr. Eric Shoemake, author of Cruise Ship or Nursing Home, Your 5 Essentials to a Maximized Life, and the 20 and 30 Weight Loss Challenge. So I'm excited to be with you today. I think my wife has been wondering what I've been doing all of the hours I've been spending working on coming up with this 3-step process I'm going to go through with you today on losing weight and truly keeping it off. Because, you know, right now what I see, so many people that are dealing with this they've done Jenny Craig, they've done Nutrisystem, they've done 18 different type of weight loss programs, and they always put the weight back on, and it's because there's 3 things that they're not tapping into, and I'm going to go through those with you today. I'm super excited about the Lose to Win challenge that we have coming up here, and I want to take you through some things that if you can just latch onto these, this will be the year that you're finally able to get the energy back that you want, to lose the weight, to fit in the jeans that you haven't fit in 15 years. That's what this is all about. So it's really simple when it comes to weight loss. You have to get things working for you rather than working against you. You see, what we do with weight loss is we think about deprivation. So I can't eat this, I'm never going to eat this again, I got to restrict my calories, I have to be hungry all the time. And those are complete myths. They're not true. As a matter of fact, that's what contributes to you gaining the weight back later, is because you feel so deprived. So what we have to do is first start with the understanding that you have an amazing ability to be well inside of you. Your body is a masterpiece. It's incredible. If you can get those things working for you, the things that God gave you in your body, if you can get those working for you rather than against you, you will succeed. So the very first thing you need to get working for you is number 1 here is going to be your brain. Getting your brain working for you is huge because the brain is the most powerful processor on the planet. So there's no computer on the planet that's even close to as powerful as your brain. Your subconscious, just think about this for a second, your subconscious remembers everything you've ever thought or said or done. It banks it. You have a memory of that thing. Even though it's not conscious, it's in your subconscious. And it's working all the time. And all it's designed to do is just run the software that you've given it. And unfortunately, too many of us have given it faulty programs. So the way I describe this is, imagine if you have a word processor, you're in Microsoft Word, and you type a letter, and it prints out, and there's a misspelled word on there. So you take out the paper and you erase it, and you put it back in the printer and you print it again. Well, what's going to happen? The same misspelled word is going to be on there. Well, this time you get on Amazon and you buy a book called Effective Erasing Techniques. So you read the book on how to erase really well, and you erase the misspelled word. You put the paper back in, you hit print, and it prints the same word again. Well, think about that. The reason it's doing it is because the software, the program is what is messed up. We have to change the program. So if we can just get your limiting beliefs out of the way, and the things that sabotage you, and all those emotional eating things, and the things that keep you from really making the decisions that you want, we can change everything. All right? So there's 2 simple ways to do this when it comes to taking care of your brain. Number 1 is get in touch with your big why. Get in touch with your big why. Nietzsche said that a man with a big enough why can bear almost any how. In other words, if you want it bad enough, you're going to figure it out. If you might say, well, I'm afraid of heights. But if I took somebody that you loved and cared about, and I took you between 2 50-story buildings, and there was only a 5 or 6 inch beam that you had to walk across to get to that person on the other side before the building burned down, guess what? You wouldn't be scared of heights anymore. You would figure it out because you have a big enough why. And this will jumpstart things because you can get a lot of therapy about things that have gone wrong in your life and why you're an emotional eater and all of these things. But if you have a big enough why, it makes those things pale in comparison. So you got to figure out why it is that you want to lose weight and keep it off. I just dealt with a patient recently, and she was saying, I want to be able to go see the whales. I want to do a whale watching trip in California. I've never done that. That's why I want to beat this disease I'm dealing with. That's a big why. I had actually changed my why when I changed my nutrition, and I talk about that in the Maximize Living Makeover book, and that changed everything in my life. So you got to get in touch with the big why. Number 2, when it comes to dealing with your brain, is get a win. Get a win under your belt, and that's what this program Lose to Win is all about. Is about losing that 10 pounds in that first week, and it's amazing when you do that, starts to short circuit all of those negative beliefs, and you start going, I really can do this, I can overcome. The second thing that you need to get in touch with here and get working for you is going to be hormones. You have to get your hormones working for you, again, rather than working against you. And the hormones I'm talking about specifically are your adrenals. We're talking about cortisol here. Cortisol is the hormone that makes you build fat around the midsection and around your rear end, which is where most people have the problem. We have far too much cortisol in our systems. It's out of balance. We don't have nearly enough growth hormone. We have too much cortisol. And when you get imbalanced like that, you will try to lose weight and you can't, because there's a very powerful hormone called leptin. Okay? Leptin is the hormone that tells your body to burn fat. And if you have leptin levels that are in balance, your brain will get the message to burn fat, and you'll burn fat like you're supposed to. I remember we talked about this at the beginning. You have an amazing ability to be healthy and well inside of your body. Nobody was born overweight. So it happens through imbalances. Well, if that leptin gets out of balance, it can be telling your brain to burn fat, and guess what? Your brain never hears the message. So then you go get on the treadmill, you're working out for 40 minutes, 50 minutes a day, you're sweating like crazy, you're only eating 700 calories, you're weighing all your food, and if that leptin level doesn't get taken care of, you're never gonna lose weight. You lose 10 pounds and you hit a wall. And I know a lot of you guys have been there. The key to getting over that and getting over that wall is get your leptin levels under control. And that has everything to do with the type of exercise you do and the diet. So those are the other two big things. Get your the leptin level and cortisol levels working the way they're supposed to. So it's really about hormones. And I'll tell you, when you get your hormones working for you, that's when I see people lose 50 pounds and keep it off. That's when I see people be able to, they don't have the problems with their knees anymore because they've lost 25 pounds. That's when you see people like my mom who was able to lose 40 pounds and keep it off permanently because now she's got the hormones working. She doesn't even have those cravings that she had before. It's all about hormones, and that's the one thing that we teach with everybody we work with. And the last thing you need to do, and this one incredibly important, probably even more important than the others, is get your habits working for you. The power of habits is truly incredible. I've been reading a lot of books on this recently. That's one of the things I've been doing at night, staying up reading books on what actually, how do you successfully change? There's a great book called Made to Stick, and it talks about how to change and when change is difficult. And what they talk about in that book is willpower is an exhaustible resource. It's actually a very quickly exhaustible resource. You don't have enough willpower to succeed in losing weight because your willpower gets used up within about 48 hours. That's why most people last a couple of days on their diet and then they're down the tubes, because willpower is exhaustible. It will go away. But what is not exhaustible is the power of your habits. I'll give you an example. If you go to 24 Hour Fitness right now, there's a ton of people in that parking lot. And there's a ton of people there in January because everyone has these New Year's resolutions, and it's all willpower. They're willing themselves to still go to the gym. But in February and March, what's going to happen is that's going to be a half-empty parking lot again, and the cars that are going to be there are not people with willpower, it's people that have created habits. They just work out on Mondays. That's just what they do. They don't feel like it any more than you or I do, but that's just what they do. It's the power of habit. So I'll tell you, the single most important habit that you can build, and at the Lose to Win Challenge, we're going to go through a lot of these, but the single most important one is becoming what I call a food label ninja. You got to be able to read a food label and know what it means. You got to be able to find the hidden sources of sugar. You got to be able to look at the dirty little tricks of the food companies, how they name things different names than you would think, and they change serving sizes. You got to be smart with reading food labels, and when you get in that habit of reading food labels, it's amazing how it changes how you shop, what you bring home, the foods that you are and are not willing to eat. When you're on the run, when you're in an airport, you read the food labels and find the right things. So it's about reading food labels. So that's one thing I encourage you to do, is start reading food labels and know what's in every bit of the food that you're eating. And I know I get a lot of questions on, man, how do I know there's some specifics on that. What exactly do I do? Well, that's why we are coming out with our webinar coming up here on January 14th. It's actually my birthday, so it's my birthday webinar. We're doing a webinar specifically on this, on how to win that inner game of weight loss. And it's going to be a live webinar. It's coming up January 14th. That's Wednesday at 7 p.m. Wednesday at 7 p.m., January 14th. I'm going to be with you for about 45 minutes. We're going to have some Q&A in there as well. And I'm going to take you through with PowerPoint, okay, how can we start making changes in these areas, and how do we address really the obstacles that keep you from losing the weight that you really want to lose? So what are those obstacles? Emotional eating. We're going to talk about that. Listening to the wrong things, or not having the right people to listen to. Trying to do it in isolation. Who do I listen to when it comes to I should eat this, or should I do paleo or high carb or low carb or no fat or high fat? What do I do? Well, we're going to give you some specifics on that. So I'm really excited about this webinar coming up January 14th, Wednesday. That's 7 p.m. I can't wait to see you there. If you click on the link below here, you can get registered for that webinar. So the link right below will allow you to get registered for that webinar, and we're going to make this year, I promise you, this year is going to be your best year yet, because you get these things working for you. Can't wait to see you.